Stop starting your diet over every Monday. Seriously, if Monday diets worked, we'd all be in bikinis by Wednesday, right? But if you're stuck in that cycle of new week, new me, every 7 days, this video is going to give you the reset that actually works, especially advice number 2. Hi, my name is Misha and I help women in midlife reset their habits, energy and mindset so they can feel great in their bodies, reconnect with their purpose and create a life that truly lights them up. Let's dive straight in. Right, step 1, clarify your why, and that is your positive why and your negative why too. And let me explain. So willpower doesn't work long term, right? I'm not sure what your experience is, but I believe this is definitely true. A lot of people who set out to lose weight talk about willpower as if the secret key that will unlock their results, but it's not. Willpower is simply self-control, the ability to resist the temptation of giving into immediate gratification. And guess what? Most of us, we're not that great at resisting temptation, at least not 24/7, right? But you know what actually works? A clear why. You need both your positive as well as your negative why. The positive why is your ideal state, how you want to feel, energized, strong, confident in your own skin. And the negative why is the thing you absolutely want to avoid, feeling sluggish, puffy, tired all the time, or like your body's working against you. For me, the turning point came when I realized I wasn't afraid of gaining weight. I was more afraid of feeling disconnected from my body, right? So basically feeling uncomfortable, unattractive, like it wasn't even me anymore. That bloated, frustrated, what is the point feeling? That was my negative why. And my positive why, I wanted to feel lit up. Sexy, strong, happy to be in photos with my kids. And, I didn't want to be hiding in front of them, when there were photo shoots or just simply people taking photos. I simply wanted to be full of energy and confidence to live my best midlife. By the way, if you're confused on the basics, what areas to concentrate on, or you would like a guide on how to shift weight, feel energized and live your best life, I put together a completely free midlife reset guide with 9 key areas of change, and it's linked in the description below in the video. So take a moment, write your 2 whys, put them somewhere you'll see when you're tempted to suck it all off. Motivation fades, but a strong why, that sticks. Your why will carry you through the difficult days, the days you feel like giving up on yourself. And yeah, it's just so important to know your why, because that will get you through the hurdles. Right, now, step number 2, align your identity with your goals. Now, once you know your why, the emotional reason that drives you, the next step is asking yourself, do I actually see myself as the kind of woman who follows through on this? Because your identity shapes your behavior. If you say, I always follow the wagon and, I just always mess up, well, guess what? Your brain's going to make sure that's true. But if you start seeing yourself as someone who makes healthy choices most of the time, even before you fully believe it, your actions will begin to align. And I'm not really saying, fake it until you make it, but slowly by your actions and seeing yourself as that person, you will be proving yourself that, you are that kind of person who is making healthy choices. I remember when I started telling myself I'm someone who mostly opts for real food. I'm learning to be consistent. At first, it felt a bit like lying, definitely, but slowly, as I kept showing up, I started proving to myself that it was true. Step by step, I became that person. It didn't happen overnight, and it wasn't about being perfect. It was about consistency. It was about showing up more often than not. And that is really important. Just show up more often than not. And that shift, it's why I'm healthy, fit, and thriving today. It's really the way I see myself now. So stop saying you're rubbish with food or bad at routines, whatever your negative story is, because you're not. You're just a woman becoming someone new. Say it, show up, repeat. That's it. Let's move on to step 3. No, 3. That's it. Stay consistent through imperfection. Once you're starting to see yourself as that person, someone who shows up, the next thing to work on is how you handle slip-ups, because they will happen. Look, one dodgy takeaway doesn't mean that you basically failed, right? Neither does 2 or 3, actually. Limiting beliefs and all or nothing will kill your progress faster than a packet of hobnobs. Believe me. I was in that situation. You're allowed to mess up. It's life, right? Everyone will mess up every now and then. The trick is to stop pressing restart. Every time you do, just carry on. So every time you have a mess up, there is a next day, there is a next hour. Just carry on and try to choose your best habits, your best options, the healthiest options, right? And just carry on with what you've been doing before. When I let go of the, I'm blowing it mindset, everything changed. One skipped workout didn't turn it into a lost week. One off-plan meal didn't unravel a whole month. I focused on the next best decision, not the last bad one. And that's what builds long-term change. Consistency, not freaks. So the next time you think I'll start again on Monday, don't. Just pick up where you left off. You haven't failed, you're just human, as we all are. Okay, so the next app is step number 4. If I learn how to count. Stop counting calories if it's not making you feel good. Basically, if it's making you feel miserable. If calories counting makes you feel like you're prepping for GCSE math, we do need to have a talk about it. Counting calories can work, but for many of us, it creates obsession, guilt, and food fear. If it's not helping, please just ditch it. You don't need calorie counting. Believe me, I've been there. I used to track every bite when I was on certain diets, following strict plans, and I was still bloated, tired, and miserable. When I stopped obsessing and focused on real food, things got better really fast. Now I keep it really simple. Whole foods, high protein, low carb where needed, healthy fats, and intermittent fasting. Eating in a set window that gives my body a break. That way of eating completely kills my cravings and allows me to feel satisfied. If you would like more details on the kind of foods to eat, I include all of that and much more in my free Midlife Reset Guide. Download it using the link in the description below. This is what finally worked for me. No more micromanaging meals, just listening to my body and fueling it properly. So, if tracking makes you feel unhinged, stop. Try real food, some structure, and a whole lot less stress, right? Step number 5. Use better ways to measure progress. If weighing yourself ruins your entire week, morning, day, or whatever, it's time to retire that scale, my friend. Weight fluctuates, hormones, sleep, moon phases, God knows what else, right? But tying your self-worth to that number, nope, that just does not work. Okay, I used to weigh myself obsessively. I'd feel good in my clothes, hop on the scale, see a higher number, and whole day was ruined, right? I was just so demotivated. So I would stop, with the healthy habits, and again, the whole cycle would start again. I would say, okay, let's start on Monday again, right? So basically, I stopped weighing myself. Instead, I used progress jeans, and this is what really helped. So, those are the tight ones, tight jeans that don't lie, the kind that don't stretch. And you know what? Way more helpful. Way less drama. I currently have a client also who was also very demotivated by the scales, and guess what? Once she ditched it, she felt more energized, more motivated, and she finally started seeing a real progress. If you're the type who gets demotivated by the scale, stop using it. Use different ways to measure your progress. For example, waist to height ratio is a great way to measure your progress. You can plug it into any online calculator. Your photos, for example, also a great way. How you feel, of course, how your clothes fit, because that is the real progress. Okay, let's move on to step number 6. Simplify your nutrition. Here is a revolutionary idea. Eating healthy shouldn't feel like rocket science. Forget 15-point food rules and color-coded charts or whatever. Stick with what works, right? Whole foods, meat, fish, eggs, veggies, little fruit, cheese, tofu, dairy, nuts. High protein, so ideally 1 gram of protein per your ideal body weight. Healthy fats, no seed oils, if possible. We're never perfect, but if possible. Use olive oil, avocado, coconut oil, nuts, seeds, organic tallow, ghee. They're all great fats. Lowish carbs, so around 50 grams on days that you're low carb, and then cycle with high carb. And that doesn't have to be any exact science, just a few days on a low carb. If you're losing weight, concentrate more on the low carb. However, incorporate some high carbs, which is about 150 grams per day. And yes, carb cycling is your friend. And intermittent fasting, it helps your body burn fat and heal if it suits your body and your schedule, of course. For me, I learned I didn't need 25 supplements or fat lost these. I just needed to eat mostly real food, the kind that goes off in a few days. Ideally, 1 ingredient, and organic where possible. It's not always possible. It's definitely a more expensive option, but where possible. I keep it low carb, especially when I notice my blood sugar spiking or cravings are kind of creeping in. And intermittent fasting gave me so much more energy and fewer cravings. It's very simple, effective. So don't overcomplicate it. You don't need an overcomplicated plan. You just need to follow these simple rules. And of course, if you need help with this and want a personalized approach, I offer one-on-one coaching. You can find all the details below in the description. You don't need another perfect Monday or shiny new diet. You need a real sustainable rhythm. Start with your why, and both of them, the positive, the negative. Shift how you see yourself. Let go of the all or nothing trap. Simplify your food and ditch the scales if it's toxic, if it's not helpful. And focus on consistent actions, not perfect ones. That's how I did it, and it's why I don't start over anymore. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which part of today's video resonated with you the most? Let me know in the comments. I respond to every single comment. And don't forget to grab my free midlife reset guide to get started. It's linked below. And if you're ready to go deeper and create real change, don't miss the next video. How to reset your life in midlife and create your best chapter yet. I'll walk you through my proven 4-step framework. See you there.